I would be in constant suffering if I did not do the things that I'm going to share with you today. If you suffer from brain fog, low energy, having difficulty having smooth bowel movements, then this video is for you. I have been dealing with gut issues for a very long time. I believe it's been like over 3 years, over 2 years for sure. I have gone through very embarrassing moments in my life with these gut issues, and there was a time where I just could not. It first started off as gastritis, which later I was able to heal naturally after having a round of antibiotics and them doing not too well in my body. My gastritis actually went away after like 3 months of me constantly trying to get better at learning how to deal with my body issues. But then when I did my first marathon, my gut issues actually came back, and they came back in the form of acid reflux. Now this was something that I had never really experienced before because my gastritis was mainly filled with bloating and a lot of gas, but acid reflux and GERD is actually just constant burning on the left side of your abdominals and also on your throat. People have different symptoms, but that's the main ones that I always get, and I have learned a lot through it. I have been able to heal it for a couple months, then it'll come back, heal it for a couple months, but it is always because of my inconsistency, and that's one of the things that I want to touch on today. Today I want to share with you how I have healed my gut and how it's literally saved my life. I would be in constant suffering if I did not do the things that I'm going to share with you today. One of the first things that I did when I found out that I was diagnosed with gastritis was I made sure to figure out how to quickly resolve the symptoms that I was feeling so that I would feel better more often and have that time to figure out how to solve it completely. And what I did when I had a lot of gas and bloating with my gastritis is I used a ton of heating packs. These really helped me out in times where I just felt super uncomfortable with my body and felt super bloated. I simply put the heating pad in the microwave for 30 to 40 seconds, and then I put it in my stomach. I applied it, and that really helped me get all the gas out. Now it's just like a band-aid. So in order for you to really get deep and figure out what is happening with your body or what is triggering your body to create those symptoms is figuring out your trigger foods. The foods that I found out really gave me huge triggers were tomatoes, citruses, sometimes garlic and onion. It was very rare and it had to be in large amounts for it to really hurt me, and spicy foods. Now, if you've had gastritis before, you've probably heard of these, or you probably are sensitive to these. And these are the main ones that really hindered me, so I just took them out of my everyday meals completely. A lot of times what happens is your body does not have the digestive enzymes or the capability to break down those foods. Whatever it is in those foods, they cannot break it down. A lot of people call it the elimination diet. You start eliminating the big food groups if you can't really figure out the triggers that you have. So a lot of people start taking out gluten and dairy and stuff like that. So if you figure out through the elimination diet that that is something, you know, there's a certain food that sticks out to you, then definitely do that for 3 months where you do not consume them, and then come back and try them in very small amounts. That's something that I have been told by nutritionists and a ton of doctors that I've worked with in the past. As for acid reflux and GERD, one of the things that you want to make sure you really figure out is whether you have high acid or low acid. Because if you have high acid, there's a completely different way of going about it and kind of leveling down that acid compared to when you have low acid. Now, if you have high acid, one of the quick reliefs that you can do is use baking soda. You use 1/2 teaspoon of baking soda in, I think, 4 ounces of water, I believe. You mix it up and you drink it, and that usually provides a quick relief. However, you do have to be careful with this because if you constantly consume baking soda, it can actually imbalance those levels of acidity in your stomach. So please make sure to not do it literally every day. One of the things that I struggled with was with low acidity in my stomach. And if you have low acid, one of the things that really helped me out was just bringing up that acidity back up to its leveled state, and apple cider vinegar really helped me out with that. What I would do is I would fill up a cup of water and 1 tablespoon of apple cider vinegar. I would put a little honey to kind of make it taste a little better and not too acidic. Now, I usually drink apple cider vinegar right after my meals, and the reason this helps is because apple cider vinegar, especially if you have the one that's with the mother, it has enzymes that help you break down food. People sometimes say that it helps you with weight loss and with other things. that we're not completely sure of, but it has really helped me with my digestion and also with my acidity levels. Apple cider vinegar completely neutralized my acidity levels after a week. Next thing is eating more vegetables. I want to say eating more fiber, but a lot of times things like wheat bread have fiber in them or are said to have fiber, but really end up backing people up in the end. So I would much rather eat vegetables as my source of fiber instead of doing it supplementally, but if you have to, obviously go ahead. There are things like psyllium husk that are in Metamucil, or things that really help you out with your digestive system, that can be added with your meals. When you have better digestion, you're more likely to have more mental clarity, smooth bowel movements, and just overall more energy. This is one of the highest deficiencies that Americans can have, is fiber deficiencies. It is such a silent deficiency, and one of the easiest ways for you to eat more vegetables and to put more fiber in your diet is by cutting up the vegetables very small. I kind of treat it like a baby. It's like a little baby method, where it's like when you feed babies or dogs, you want to give it to them in smaller pieces so that they're able to digest them better. One, obviously they're going to help you digest it better, but two, you won't have these big chunky pieces of fiber. They're a lot smaller. You can mix them with meat. What I love to do is, if I have some type of ground beef, I cut up very small pieces of carrot or very small pieces of potatoes or zucchini, and you put them all together into like a small like little stir fry, and it comes out really good, and it's small enough so that you mainly just taste the meat. If you really don't like vegetables, this is a really great tip for you. But eating more vegetables has definitely saved my life. It has upped my content of water, because a lot of these vegetables that I eat have a lot of water in them, and I don't need to consume it from actual water. I could just consume it from vegetables. Obviously still drink water, but you know what I mean. Healing my gut has also taught me so much about listening to my body. When I was a lot younger, I was probably like 8 or 9 years old, I had reached a point where I was emotionally eating. And this is something that I feel like I still have within me, but I constantly practice unsatiating myself properly and really separating food from my emotions. When I'm like, sometimes when I'm stressed, I feel like I am vacuuming the food, but when you really chew your food, it really allows you to digest it a lot quicker and transform it into energy like that. And I think also what comes with emotionally eating is knowing when to stop. I would just keep stuffing my face. I think this comes from my Mexican background, because your grandma would put the food down on your table, you're ready to eat, and if you did not finish it, they would question your whole existence. Like, honestly, I am not kidding. Or if you did finish, they would celebrate you. They would celebrate the fact that you did finish the food, bring you another plate, now finish this one. So it was like, obviously from them, it was a point of caring, it was a point of being your grandma. However, throughout the years, that same habit of doing that can really bite you in the butt in the end, because we constantly feel the need to fill our stomachs with food and to feel to the point where like it's right here. Healing my gut has allowed me to know when to stop, mainly because I knew what was coming afterwards. If I overate, I knew the acid reflux was going to come back up and make me feel worse the whole night. So it's really a matter of knowing when your limit is and to honor that, and also to honor how you're feeling. Think about how you'll feel afterwards. I will feel a lot more comfortable. Maybe later on in an hour or two, I will feel open to having a light snack or something like that. My food does not need to be finished. I can always have leftovers. I can always put them away, have it tomorrow for breakfast. I'm the type of person who's like, I hate wasting food. I am not gonna waste food. I'm gonna take this home. It's a piece of bread. I'm gonna take it home. It's a piece of this. I'm gonna take it home. No. You're probably not going to eat it, first of all. If you are going to eat it, then make sure you supply it with something else. Let's say it is a piece of bread or something like that, that you got from the store or that you got as a leftover. Then make sure the next day to fill it up with something else. Fill it up with something more satiating, like some protein and some veggies on the side. Let's say if you're having it in the morning, you're having the piece of bread with some eggs, and then maybe a little stir fry with mushrooms and peppers and stuff like that, to get your body to use up all those nutrients. Listening to my body has helped me avoid indigestion so many times, especially when I go out. I think I've talked enough throughout this video. I hope this helped you some way or another. If you have any questions or any comments, please leave them down below. Again, I am not a doctor. Obviously, this is all from my own experience. Please talk to your doctor before doing anything super crazy to your diet or to your lifestyle. And with that said, I will see you guys on my next video. Bye.